Ladies and gentlemen, come gather round, come gather round, come gather around. Today, we're going to deal with that nasty clunk in the front suspension of this PTSD Cruiser and try to resolve some nasty death noises that we think are kind of scary. Let's go! A common cause for nasty clunks are the top mounts of the struts. So I picked up a set of struts at the local junkyard and that didn't make a difference. I did try to find if anybody had put fresh struts on their PT Cruiser, but nobody puts fresh struts on a PT Cruiser, so I just picked ones that looked like they were in better shape than what I had coming off. Couldn't find anything else in there, and then finally kind of almost gave up, and here's what I found. You'd think I would have found this earlier, but this little bushing has a fair bit of not happy in there. So we're going to buy some new ones and put them in. Here we go. So whenever I do a job, I try to find the easiest way of getting the job done. That way, hopefully, I can do it faster. In theory, my hope was to use one of those kind of on-the-car C-clamp kind of ball joint pressing tool things, which I bought recently from Princess Auto on sale, only to discover, no, you cannot actually get this control arm to come out far enough. So, relatively quick disassembly. This is a pinch bolt instead of a tapered fit for the ball joint. Sway bar comes out, and the back bolt is just vertical, and then the front bolt's horizontal on the lower control arms, and rattly with the impact. Kind of nice to use an impact. I know electric is a way to go, but I've got an air compressor, and I do like my air tools. Plus, they don't have to quit partway through the job and then have to be recharged and put back into service later. Well, I should have split the ball joint a bit better before I did all this, but I didn't, so I'm going for it. I avoid pickle forks because they tend to split the boot on the ball joint, and then you're going to let yuck get inside there and wreck the ball joint. And then you'll be doing this again, except for ball joints, not bushings. Notice all that rust. I kind of suspect this thing might be from Ontario. I took a piece of, Schedule 40 pipe and ground it and cut it and spliced it so it could actually support things while I pushed the bushing out, but neglected to leave enough space for the bushing to actually come all the way out. And then after a bit of messing around with it going, qu'est-ce que c'est? I went, oh, I know. And I think I moved the steel plates aside so that I can get the ball joint actually out. Funny that. I don't have a proper press plate kit kind of thing, but I do have these chunks of, I think they're 5/8 plate steel, which, it works. I can always cut a notch in there and it'll work fine. The boshing pushed right out, eh? Bushing popped out, put in a new one, I think. I don't think I bought Moog. I bought whatever was the cheapest. Here's that kit. Comes with the 4-wheel drive attachments, was on sale. Take it back over to the press, set up the camera so you can watch, and handy. I mean, you can use anything with a press. Check the video above where I talk about this hydraulic press and all the shenanigan little bits of stuff that I use to press things. It's a very pressing matter. Ha 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 ha. I think the white piece is like a rubber pad or a mounting cup or something for something that we stripped apart from at some point. I don't know. I find stuff and I keep it. And then I got a big honking socket out of a 3/4 drive set when I did the timing belt on my father's Honda Odyssey, I think. I just needed one socket, but I bought the whole kit. So sockets work really good for pressing because they come in all just the right sizes you need them to be. And this also has the air of a hydraulic ram, which is, oh my gosh, the cat's meow for pressing. No more wrecking your arm trying to hydraulically pump this thing all the way through. That's been dandy. Didn't change the front bushing. Would be a smart idea to do it. It didn't show any defect, so I left it. Why spend more than you have to? It's not like I'm going to keep this car forever. So, lining up all the bolts and everything was exciting. I used a dollop of Never Seez on pretty near everything because I'm likely going to be going back in again at some point. So make it easy on yourself. Put some Never Seez on the bolts. So the front one went in okay. Crazy little flange or tabbed washer, tabbed nut, something to stop it from, you don't need a wrench on the inside anyways. The rear guy took a fair bit of beating to get her into place. And then rattly-paddly that guy home. I didn't exactly use a torque wrench, but I figured that felt like enough ugga-duggas to call her good. And then trying to get the lower ball joint back into place. Then we put a bolt in there. There's no cotter pin on this. It's just a through bolt that pinches. Worked out pretty good. May actually work for the same technique for a Neon. I think these use the same suspension as a Dodge Neon. So if you're messing with one of those, this video might work for you. And a bit of the ratchety. And then I didn't exactly think about sway bar linkage, so I'm just prying it so I can get the little bushings in there and the wee spacer that goes between them. Big long bolt that hasn't rusted through and broken yet. I once had one of those break. It's going around a corner. Something in the front of an Eastern car went snap, and it felt really sloppy on the steering, and ended up having to replace the sway bar and links. This one is good enough, so we call her good. Throw on the wheels, wheel nuts, torque bar on the impact so that it's reasonably close to torqued, and I think we're good to go. Woo! So, been driving it a couple days. It's significantly better. There is no bangity bang bang in the front when you hit bumps, which is cool. I'm surprised that I didn't notice those bushings being as bad as they were, and even pulling them out, they didn't look as bad as I was expecting, considering the noise it was giving. Nevertheless, there it is. The bushings are pretty cheap. It's just a bit annoying to put them in. I did both sides, although I only showed one, and now there's a wee clunk in the back that I can hear that I need to find. Betcha it's a bushing. So there it is. We're going to drive this for a bit more. Kid's going to continue learning how to drive. He's pretty much figured out how to do the stick and shifting, and now we're going to carry on with more of the driving experience in the PTSD Cruiser. As always, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you again.